Hello, everybody. This is Eric here. Another day of recovery, one day at a time. Um, Lately, I've been getting into baking. I decided to try looking at videos on sourdough bread and looked at various recipes, various people who tell us what they learned. The things I've learned is that it doesn't come easy at first. I don't know if it will come easy, but I did get the bread started. By the way, this is going to be about recovery, I promise. The point of this video is to follow the recipe. So I decided to make some English muffins, as you can see. They somewhat resemble English muffins, but not really. And if you watch enough bread baking videos, people are so happy to share the results. So they say, oh, look at the crumb. Well, actually, this one doesn't have any crumb. And I asked my wife to lift one. We expect bakery goods to be light, fluffy, flaky, not dense. So I picture myself like going, so solid. Or it's nice and heavy. Yeah, not what we're expecting. So, what happened? Well, this recipe required you take the sourdough starter, you make it the night before, so I did. Then I waited like 12 hours, so then you do more stuff to it. You knead it, you fold it, and then you wait some more. Then you roll it into balls. And then you get this special corn flour thing to make the crust. And then I read you put it in the fridge again overnight. Like, really? Like, okay, we're talking 3 days to make English muffins. Well, guess what I decided to do? I decided, well, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to bake them now. They looked puffy enough to me. And I had heard that you didn't want them overproofed because, oh no, you kind of want to end on the overproof side because you don't really want muffins, English muffins, to go like that. So, being inexperienced, I thought better. I just decided, well, why would this be a surprise, huh? Why would this be a surprise? I was actually kind of surprised. It's like they're really dense. My wife was trying to cheer me up. She's so sweet. She said, well, don't feel bad, and as if these things reflected on me. No, I just didn't follow the recipe. If I follow the recipe, it'll turn out. So here's what I've learned about recovery is that there are certain essential ingredients. You can't leave certain ingredients out. Total surrender. If we're not going to surrender to God, it's not going to work. And then the next one is God. And I mean this so respectfully to fellow members in any of the 12-step groups when they're trying to figure out where are they with God or to try to do the steps. This idea, take what you like and leave the rest. Well, if you do like that with a recipe like this, I take what I like. Well, I didn't like the rest, which is you make it, you don't put it, you put it in these flattened balls in the refrigerator for another night. Well, I'm not going to get recovery. So if you leave God out of this, it's not going to work. So I would just be open to God and say, God, please reveal yourself to me. Absolute honesty. If we're not honest with ourselves, if we're not honest with other people, doesn't have to be the whole world. Certainly doesn't have to be the whole group, but just someone in the program who you trust that you're going to be blatantly honest. That's an essential ingredient. I think time is an ingredient just like anything else. With this, I had the right ingredients. In fact, I had gotten a scale to cook and bake by grams. It's a great way to do it. It's really easier in some ways. It's much more precise. But essential ingredient in this case was time. It just takes time to follow the recipe, trial and error, until all of a sudden something clicks with you, and all of a sudden you start to get recovery, and then you start to hold on to that ingredient. I'm very attached to what I know that works, and there's a danger to that because I want to keep an open mind to realize I know only a little, but there are certain things I know that work. Restitution or amends. If there are people we just can't forgive or can't go make an amends to, we're not going to get sober. We're not going to stay sober. It's no pun intended, but it's an unforgiving recipe. And there's lots of stories with people in recovery that just thought, well, I just can't go to that person. It's just not going to work. And I'm not talking about situations where it could damage you or others. For instance, people in dealing with sex addiction, if they're not going to really make amends to the people they harmed, or in the pornography, it may not be direct amends, obviously. It may be indirects, but give a donation. Or with Overeaters Anonymous, if we have such resentments towards people, and we just feel like, well, if I went and told everybody that, I was holding a resentment, that might actually harm them worse. But there are things we can do, things we can help them in secret to somehow make amends. Really, really key. Another essential ingredient is like steps 10 and 11, really, is this daily contact with God. In my experience, it can't be, oh, quick, I'm driving in the car, I'll quickly pray, or I'll pray in bed, or, if you want to be sober and stay sober and actually have somewhat of a happy life, one has to connect with God. I will confess, today I did my morning routine just minutes ago, and it's about 3 o'clock. Is that recommended? Absolutely not. I got up this morning to do a 12-step meeting at 7 in the morning. I got up earlier, actually. There was a phone call, I think, that woke me up. And I texted the person, said I'll talk later. So I did a 3 hours of meeting. I don't normally do that. Then I ended up needing to do this baking. Then connected with a person over in Europe, helping them with 12 steps. So all these things seem to be more important, but how can I really give something I haven't got in terms of connection with God? So most days it's the morning and evening when it comes to that daily connection with God, and I highly recommend pages 84 to 88 of the AA Big Book. It actually has exactly what we need to do to be sober. And it says in that section, and this is kind of a good closing, is that it says it would be easy to be vague about this matter of prayer and meditation. Why would it be easy to be vague? Because maybe we don't want to offend people or step on toes. But if we're vague, we can leave out essential ingredients in that searching for God's power. So it gives definite suggestions. It says upon retiring, meaning at night, it says we reviewed our day. We asked ourselves, where were we selfish, dishonest, fearful, or resentful? Do I owe an apology? What could I have done better? Was I thinking of myself most of the time, or was I thinking of what I could pack into the stream of life? Was I kind and loving toward all? It says we're careful not to drift into remorse or morbid reflection, for that would diminish our usefulness to others. But we ask God for forgiveness and ask what corrective measures should be taken. So those are essentials to me. And I think if I didn't say it, do I owe an apology? Is there something I should share with someone so that I'm trying to go to bed in a peaceful state? In the morning, it says, upon awakening, we review our day. We just consider only 24 hours ahead. We ask God before we begin anything to direct our thinking, that it be divorced from self-seeking or self-pity or dishonest or selfish, resentful or fearful motives. And we ask Him to guide us into what we have to do today. We ask for His power, for His strength. It says in the middle of the day we could be agitated or doubtful. Another essential thing I do is that if I start getting agitated, which would be angry, irritable, doubtful would be anxious or fearful, we ask God for the next right decision, thought, or inspiration. It says we relax and take it easy. We do not struggle. That's how we know we're experiencing this program. And that's essential. It's essential because why do we use our drug or food or sex or spending or gambling or work of choice? It's because we were aiming for that peaceful, serene state. But the 12 steps, and not really the 12 steps, but the God of our understanding sought through the 12 steps will give us that peace. And we'll have something that's lighter and fluffier and edible. This is edible. We're going to eat these, that actually make good pizza rounds if they were sliced 3 ways. But I don't know if they probably won't make that either. But I would say tenacity, keep on seeking God, keep on working this. Once you get it, you'll have the miracle of your life, and you'll really know that God exists, and you'll begin to have those addictions go away. Once you experience that, it's hard to let that go, and it would be hard to not write down the recipe of what worked for you. You take care, and you have a great day of recovery.